A bridge usually begins with two shores. This one begins with a question. What happens when the distance is so vast that the sea itself becomes the obstacle? Across the Pearl River Delta, a line of concrete and steel stretches so far that it seems less like a bridge and more like a man-made horizon. It links Hong Kong, Zhuhai, and Macau, three names tied to trade, borders, water, and one of the busiest coastal regions on Earth. But the strangest part is not that the crossing rises over the sea. It is that, at its most critical point, it disappears beneath it. This is the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macao Bridge, a 55-kilometer bridge-tunnel system of viaducts, cable-stayed spans, artificial islands, and an undersea road. To understand it, you have to stop imagining a single bridge. This is a corridor built out of separate worlds. There is open water. There are shipping channels. There are airport flight paths, border controls, reclaimed islands, and mud so deep it becomes an engineering problem of its own. From the air, the crossing looks almost simple, a pale thread drawn across blue-gray water. But every segment exists because something in the sea refused an easier solution. The Pearl River Delta is not an empty backdrop. It is a living machine of ports, ferries, cargo vessels, wetlands, cities, and weather moving at enormous scale. A normal bridge could have blocked ships. A normal tunnel would have been too expensive across the entire distance. A normal road had nowhere to rest. So engineers built a hybrid, part bridge, part tunnel, part artificial geography. A route that had to behave like land in the middle of the ocean. The idea was not new in spirit. Decades earlier, another famous crossing between Denmark and Sweden had already blurred the line between bridge, island, and tunnel. The Øresund link connects two countries with roughly 8 kilometers of bridge, 4 kilometers of tunnel, and a 4-kilometer artificial island called Pebberholm. There, the crossing had to dive underground near Copenhagen Airport, avoiding a conflict between ships, trains, cars, and planes. The lesson was powerful. Sometimes the most elegant bridge is the one that knows when to stop being a bridge. In China's Pearl River Delta, that logic expanded to a monumental scale. The distance was longer, the water busier, and the political geography more complex. The official crossing would include a 29.6-kilometer main bridge, link roads toward Hong Kong and Zhuhai, and a submerged tunnel placed between artificial islands. The result became one of the most ambitious sea crossings ever opened to traffic, a road that does not merely pass over water, but negotiates with it. The first challenge was scale. 55 kilometers is not a single dramatic leap. It is an endurance test against repetition. Pier after pier had to stand in moving water, each one bearing loads, resisting corrosion, and surviving forces that never stop working. Steel and concrete were not just materials here. They were a long-term argument against salt, waves, wind, ship impact, and time. The bridge was designed for a service life often described in generations, not seasons, a structure meant to remain useful far beyond the moment of its opening. But the sea does not offer a stable foundation. Beneath the surface, soft sediment and deep seabed conditions forced engineers to treat the ground itself as uncertain territory. In places, the project required massive foundations driven into the seabed, anchoring the road to a landscape most travelers will never see. Then came the ships. The Pearl River estuary is crossed by major navigation channels, and a bridge deck alone could not solve every problem. A tall bridge can let vessels pass beneath it, but only up to a point. For the largest channels, open water still needed to remain open. That is why the crossing performs its most dramatic transformation. It descends from bridge to island, from island to tunnel, and from tunnel back to island again. Two artificial islands act like stone gateways in the sea. They are not decorative landmarks. They are the places where the road dives into the seabed. Seen from above, they look almost symbolic, like man-made stepping stones placed between cities. In reality, they are transition machines. The tunnel between them is an immersed tube, prefabricated sections placed into a trench beneath the water, then connected into a sealed undersea passage. For drivers, the experience is almost surreal. The horizon vanishes. The sea closes overhead. The ocean crossing becomes a controlled underground corridor. This is the hidden drama of the project. The most important part of the bridge is the part the traveler cannot see from the surface. Under the channel, the tunnel allows ships to move above while vehicles pass below, separating two worlds that would otherwise collide. It is not fantasy engineering. It is a practical solution to a brutally practical problem: how to cross the sea without stopping the sea from working. The artificial islands also tell a quieter story about modern infrastructure. They are not found on maps by nature. They are created by decision. To build them is to turn seabed into land, to make a place where there was no place before. That act carries both engineering brilliance and environmental tension. Projects of this size are never just technical achievements. They reshape coastlines and ecosystems. The Golden Atlas does not treat megastructures as magic. Their wonder lies partly in their cost, their risk, and the debates they leave behind. The bridge promised speed. Journeys that once took hours by road and ferry could become dramatically shorter between major cities of the Delta. It also promised integration, a fixed link across a region where water had long separated economies, identities, and daily routines. But every promise came with questions. Who benefits most? What is sacrificed? How much traffic justifies a structure of this size? These questions are part of the story because monuments of infrastructure are never neutral. They reveal what a society chooses to connect. At golden hour, the crossing can look almost peaceful. Pylons rising from haze, cables catching light, lanes extending into a distance too long to understand from the ground. Yet inside that calm image is a catalog of forces: typhoons, currents, saltwater corrosion, heat, humidity, shipping risk, and constant maintenance. A sea bridge is never truly finished. Opening day is only the moment when the construction challenge becomes a survival challenge. From then on, inspectors, engineers, operators, and maintenance crews inherit the monument. Their work keeps the impossible looking ordinary. That may be the greatest illusion of modern engineering. Once a structure works, the public stops seeing the struggle that made it possible. You enter a road. You follow signs. You pass lights, barriers, toll areas, tunnel walls, and expansion joints. The ocean becomes background. But beneath that ordinary journey is a sequence of design choices made under pressure, each one solving a problem most travelers never notice. The bridge section had to rise high enough for channels, hold steady against wind, and repeat itself across distances that make even giant structures feel small. The tunnel section had to be sealed, aligned, ventilated, monitored, and protected beneath water that remains indifferent to human ambition. The islands had to be stable enough to receive both worlds: the open sky of the bridge and the enclosed darkness of the tunnel. This is why the crossing feels more like a constructed landscape than a single object. It is bridge, road, port approach, island, tunnel, and border architecture at once. It also belongs to a longer history of humanity trying to defeat separation: causeways, aqueducts, mountain tunnels, suspension bridges, railways through rock. Every age builds its own answer to distance. The ocean bridge is the answer of a world that demands speed across geography that once forced patience. But unlike ancient roads, this one depends on machines, sensors, permits, traffic systems, and international scale coordination. The traveler experiences continuity. Behind that continuity are jurisdictions, customs arrangements, emergency plans, maritime rules, and engineering standards stitched together like hidden cables. That administrative complexity is less visible than concrete, but it is just as essential. Without it, the bridge would be a monument without movement. The ocean crossing also changes the meaning of arrival. You do not simply reach another shore. You pass through a controlled sequence of territory, sea, tunnel, and border. In that sense, the bridge is not only a structure across water. It is a physical expression of how modern regions imagine connection. Some will see it as a marvel. Some will see it as an expensive symbol. Some will see it as a practical road. All three views can exist at once. What remains clear is the scale of the attempt to place a continuous route across open water where distance, shipping, weather, and politics all resisted simplicity. The most cinematic view may be the one from above, where the bridge becomes a pale line across the estuary, almost too thin for the forces it carries. The most mysterious view may be from the tunnel mouth, where daylight narrows and the ocean crossing becomes a descent into engineered darkness. And the most human view is perhaps from inside a vehicle, where one of the world's most complex crossings becomes a silent minutes-long passage. That is the paradox. The larger the engineering achievement, the more invisible it becomes when it succeeds. A failed bridge announces itself. A working bridge disappears into routine. But if you pause at the scale of this crossing, the routine breaks. The road is no longer just a road. It is an argument against the limits of the map. It reminds us that the modern world is not only built on cities and towers, but on the hidden links between them. Across water, beneath ships, through artificial land, the bridge turns absence into passage. And somewhere between the pillars, the islands, and the tunnel, the ocean is not conquered. It is negotiated. That is why this crossing belongs in the Golden Atlas. Not because it is simply long, but because it changes what a bridge can be. It begins as a line over water. It becomes a tunnel beneath the sea. It ends as a question about ambition itself. How far will we go to connect what geography once kept apart? And what will the next impossible crossing reveal about us?